All right, so we're back and ready for another deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at something pretty interesting, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, they should be fun.
It's marriage, but not like the happily ever after kind of way more like, is marriage really all that great for love kind of way?
Right, exactly. And that's what this pasted text we've been looking at is all about.
Yeah, pasted text.
It gets right to the point.
Yeah, so it just comes out and says,
Marriage created by society is the biggest trap. Like, whoa, hold on.
that's a bold statement.
It is like throwing down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
makes you think about this whole institution we've built around love, right?
Right.
And whether it actually helps love or maybe even hurts it.
So, okay, a trap.
Yeah.
Why would society, like setting up all these rules about love, be such a bad thing?
Well, the text argues that love should be wild, free.
Right.
And when we try to like define it legally with contracts and all that, as it says,
Yeah.
it kind of loses that freedom.
Right.
It even asks Mahatma since when did love become a slave to the law? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We always hear about marriage being like the ultimate symbol of commitment,
Right, yeah.
happily ever after.
Exactly.
But this text is like flipping that on its head.
It says society has decorated marriage with beautiful words, but in reality, it opposes the freedom of love.
So it's like all those beautiful wedding vows and speeches, they could be covering up something a little less romantic.
Maybe
Ah,
that's what this perspective is suggesting.
interesting.
Like society presents this picture of marriage being this perfect, blissful thing, but underneath it all, there could be all these structures that are actually limiting love's natural state.
Right.
It's like trying to keep a butterfly in a jar.
Yeah.
You might have it, but is it really, truly living?
No.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, and the text uses some really interesting imagery to explain this whole idea of love being free. It compares love to a flower blooming and the sun shining, things that don't have contracts or rules.
It's saying, look, the flower blooms, spreads fragrance, the sun gives light. These are natural things.
Right.
They just are what they are, and love should be the same way.
Yeah, it's like love should be just as unrestrained as a flower blooming or the sun shining.
Exactly, freely given and received.
Hmm.
So if marriage is all about, legalities and terms and conditions,
Yeah.
where does that leave the love part?
Well, the text actually addresses that directly.
Okay.
It says, "Hey, hika kana sa isn't after you can't pay. If it ansali, head back the loves."
Wait, it's about Sue about. I could pick about saying about anyone, everyone, and he actually addresses that directly.
Okay.
It says, my touch lines the event rate, I think the Agus joke, not Jenny, Akapan actually, I got it, we've ain't about a bullshit too. What too? That's right. It's arguing that if you truly love someone, that feeling itself should be enough security.
Okay.
And that needing legal guarantees or like societal structures to validate that love suggests a lack of trust in the love itself.
That's a pretty different way of thinking about it.
It is. It's definitely counterintuitive.
Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of that Khalil Gibran quote.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So it seems like this whole perspective on marriage that we're talking about, it really boils down to prioritizing freedom and love above everything else.
That's the core of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the pasted text sums it up by saying, Kakamikwai, the angel Exana, meaning love wants the sky of freedom, not the land of bonds.
Wow, that's a really powerful image.
It is. And the message is that marriage, with all its rules and restrictions, could actually be holding love back.
So I guess the takeaway here is that we might need to rethink our assumptions about marriage being like the ultimate goal of love.
Yeah.
Maybe true love isn't about being tied down, but about letting go.
That's what this pasted text is suggesting.
And it leaves us with this thought. And it leaves us with this thought.
Nice.
Therefore, love be free. Live in the flight of love, not in the trap of marriage. This is true joy. Something to think about, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe the strongest love is the one that doesn't need all the rules and constraints.
Interesting thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something to ponder.
All right. Well, on that note,
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
see you next time.
Until then.
Bye.